So our second talent book launch tonight is Mereces' second book, Prison Industrial. Talent credits. And utilizes a long form in documentation to build a poetic memoir that Eden Robertson describes as scalpel-sharp observations that dismantle the propaganda that promotes privatization of the incarceration system and its economies. Mereces teaches and writes in Vancouver on the unceded Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh territories. She is the author of Mercenary English, Q Books 2013, and then Mercenary Press 2016, a long poem about violence and resistance in the downtown East Side neighborhood of Vancouver. Her writing has appeared in Jacket 2, The Downtown East, The Volcano, on the sides, and also on the sides of Burrard and Granville Bridges as contributions to public art project. As well, collectively produced chapbooks, Our Ally, By No One Is Legal, Surveillance, and Maids, press release. She is currently working on a women's prison reader and a detective novel set in her grandfather's Chinatown supper club circa 1948. Please welcome Mereces.
I would like to dedicate this reading to my dad, since this book is about him, and to my nieces who never met him, which is why I wrote the book. Section 1, Reflection of Canada's Multicultural Reality in Federal Institutions. Question 1.1. Does your institution's vision, mission, mandate, and/or priorities statement reference multiculturalism? Earlier this fall, the federal government hired auditor Dulai to examine various international jurisdictions that have utilized the private-public partnership model for correctional facilities. PPP Canada is aiming to build its understanding of various models, approaches, and experiences of P3 correctional facilities in a global context to determine their relevancy to the Canadian market. Of particular interest is the United States, which currently houses the largest prison population in the world and deploys inmates as a captive labor force. Question 1.2. Does your institution have policies related to multiculturalism? As companies move beyond the recession, the key challenges for business, HR, and talent are becoming clear to Deloitte. At the top of the list, globalization, the drumbeat of technological change, intense regulatory environments, and the reality of work distributed in the cloud. The implications of these changes for human capital are profound. Question 1.3. Does your institution have programs related to multiculturalism? As a full-service corrections management provider, Corrections Corporation of America specializes in the design, construction, expansion, and management of prisons, jails, and detention centers, as well as inmate transportation services. We are the 5th largest corrections system in the nation. Since our inception, CCA has maintained its market leadership position in private corrections, managing more than 40% of all secure adult beds under contract with such providers in the United States. The company joined the New York Stock Exchange in 1994. We are proud of the distinctions of having been named among America's best big companies by Forbes magazine and having been consistently named GI Jobs magazine as top military-friendly employer. Question 1.4. Does your institution have reality television programs related to multiculturalism. The BC Civil Liberties Association said it plans to file a privacy complaint against the Canada Border Services Agency for allowing a reality television show to program or to film travelers crossing Canada's border without their free and informed consent. The issue came to light after the CBSA allowed a TV film crew from the show Border Security, Canada's Frontline, to film a raid on a construction site in Vancouver where immigration officials were looking for undocumented workers. Question 1.5. Did your institution undertake initiatives to promote exchanges and cooperation among diverse communities of Canada? Carol is a woman that I met on the inside while visiting my dad. She's not somebody who made it in reality, but in this book, she lives. Carol is Jesse's mama. Now, a ghost mama, whispering into the ears of the fertile Red Nation. Plant seeds in the ground and in the womb, ground zero for a revolution. She reads in the 2013 census report that since 2006, the Indigenous population has increased from 3.8 to 4.3% of the colonial nation. And she dances, knowing that there are even more babies, ones who avoided becoming state stats, like Kanahousa's freedom babies, unregistered babes taken into the woods. Knowing this, she dances, and she puts her back into it. My dad is inside when I am born. After I come out, we live in Vancouver a bit, then move to Vancouver to be closer to the prison. We visit almost every weekend, both days. 8 hours a day, 832 hours in a year, times 2. Almost 70 days served by the time I'm 2. Carol is a ghost mama, whispering into the ears of the fertile Red Nation. Plant seeds in the ground, and in the womb, ground zero for a revolution. Dear Sir, we last spoke in 1974, at which time you represented me in deportation proceedings against me. In that year, the BC immigration authorities were attempting to deport me. As a result of your representation, the deportation order was stayed. I am contacting you now because the Calgary office of the Alberta Immigration Department sent representatives to see me to inform me that a hearing will be held in approximately 2 months' time to determine my status, my family's status, and whether I can be deported or not. When you represented me in 1974, I went by the name Don Lee. Since then, I have taken the name I was born with, Sue Don Eng. To refresh your memory, I landed in Canada from mainland China. I entered this country under a Chinese nationalist passport. Since leaving, China has become a communist country, and I do not wish to return to such a country. I have settled in Canada. I am a property owner and a taxpayer, and I have been for at least a decade. I am now serving a 5-year prison term at Drumheller Institution. I look forward to hearing from you. I also look forward to remaining a Canadian citizen. Sincerely, Sue Don Eng. A settler, a husband, a father, a property owner, a taxpayer, a no-good recidivist chink. They let out Jesse's dad when Carol gave birth to their daughter Beautiful Carol. Paper bag skin. A black waterfall of Pocahontas hair. Jesse's D-status mama died of the system. They let out Jesse's daddy to look after her once the price of her mama was extracted. While Jesse is in belly, before Jesse's bug eyes can open, Carol shows her the world. Carol flies through the sky, as big as an ocean, her oil-slick hair streaming behind her for 8 city blocks, murders of infant crows clutching strands of it. She sights the prison holding Jesse's daddy's body's mind, body, and spirit, descends to his window. She hears him singing, "I can't get next to you," not like the Temptations, like Al Green, lower, lonely, filled with the longing that put Jesse in Carol's belly. To his loves he sings,
I can turn a gray sky blue. You see, I can make it rain when I wanted to.
to his call, she responds,
I can fly like a bird in the sky.
would it be a poetry reading if I didn't have a snotty nose? Carol researches Group 4 Secure Corps, the biggest private security group by revenue, the 3rd largest private employer in the world. Carol learns about G4S regulating prisons in Palestine, regulating security checkpoints in American schools, regulating the US-Mexico border. Carol laughs and cries when she reads on the company's website, "In more ways than you might realize, G4S is securing the world." Carol weaves a G4S resistant security blanket big enough for all the babes of all the Red Nations. Carol swims up Wednesday Qua, then lies on the roof of the healing center at the Una Stoughton camp to work on her spectral tan. Carol flies north to the Laxuula camp, to Leilu Island, the Flora Banks, where she lies with the salmon who rest in the estuary's eelgrass beds, making ready their transition from fresh to seawater, meditates on Bruce Lee and his 1-inch punch and being like water, then starts weaving a net to capture G4 execs, puts on headphones to speed her work, raps along with Nikki. First things first, I'll eat your brain. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Innes, for a powerful reading. Prison Industrial Complex Explodes is a book. Also copies over there for your perusal. Also, I just want to thank the person who was here.
I am a terrible friend in person. This is Madeline Trebasky.